Guess who's back in the news? It's your favourite Republican hoods. Shit. We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning. Hello everyone, the Crustatorship is back. Don't you damn know it, 100. I spent 3 hours on the train this morning. Good for you. Oh, good for you. No, I'm joking, that sounds unfortunate. I fucking hate the train. Hey King, how's it going? Good, I've actually been working all day. I've been doing my script about why does the Middle East lack democracy, which is basically just a UAE hate video. I've been reading some of the classics of our time, or at least looking at them and listening to some of the people. Isabel Oakeshott, the wife of Richard Tice, who now lives in the UAE for a bit and just tells you how awesome it is. Same with Douglas Murray, but I read his piece a long time ago. Trains in the UK are not great. Trains in the UK are shit. Trains in the UK probably once upon a time were cool, but now they're just so shit. All my homies hate the UAE. 100, 100, 100. This is going to be a gang-based anti-UAE video. That's all I'm saying. Sorry, I just opened Twitter, and it's just Bad Empanada tweeting Destiny. Here's a clip of you saying that you're attracted to children. I think all of them have sort of cottoned on to Turkey being a malign influence in the world now, which is interesting because these people were allegedly, like, I don't know, uses NATO to bully other countries, responsible for millions of deaths worldwide, engaged in multiple genocides / ethnic cleansings of indigenous populations, one of the largest imperial powers in world history, engages in imperialism to this day, refuses to acknowledge its past crimes and current war crimes, continues to oppress and kill ethnic minorities today, oftentimes in other countries in the Middle East, massively supported ISIS financially. Expats travel the entire world spreading misinformation while rewriting their genocidal history. Be Turkey. I mean, kind of interesting. I don't really understand what he's talking about, in a sense, like, of just tweeting this out as if it's some kind of shock, like, yeah, Turkey is not a good country. Turkey is the most interventionist country in the Middle East. Or it was in 2020. I think now, if you did it, the UAE would be above it. Because although Turkey's very heavily involved in Syria, yeah, I don't know about Turkey's backing of ISIS financially. I know that it backs some, like, what's it called? Is the SNA the Turkey-backed one with some pretty heinous gangs in it? What it does to Kurds is, of course, fucking disgusting and awful. Yeah. Unfortunately for Kurdish people, they've kind of just always been used as an imperial pawn. So... It's an Outcast shirt. But yeah, I mean, like, I have no sympathy for Turkey. It's not like a great government or regime, or anything to that effect at all. Like, I wouldn't sit here and run defense for Turkey. It's a malign influence. I do think right now that the UAE is probably worse in terms of what it's engaged in, and I have more disdain for the counter-revolutionary policy of the UAE than I do Turkey's general foreign policy. But of course, like, what it's doing in what it does to the Kurdish people is despicable. But Turkey's also not my area of expertise. It is also very authoritarian as well. Thoughts on Cyprus? Don't know enough about Cyprus. You may not like how Ben says it, but he is consistent. What do you mean how Ben Empanada says what? He is consistent in calling Destiny a sex offender. Evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. But yeah, I mean, like, I think that they've all just developed a new... Like, Ethan Klein started talking about this. They've all just developed a way of going, like, Turkey bad. But, like, somehow I just really doubt that that Hasan regularly runs defense for Ataturk. In fact, I know that he doesn't. I literally know that he doesn't run defense for Turkey. Like, Turkey is an undemocratic regime that is increasingly slid towards authoritarianism. It's also an American ally. I mean, in the case of Syria, like, its policy in Syria is not good, but I also think, to be honest, that Turkey's fine with Israel bombing the shit out of Syria because they believe that they are going to be able to get a deal where they're able to supply Syria with all of its military weaponry. In fact, Turkey has gone from basically, like, barely a military exporter at all since the early 2000s to, like, one of the biggest military exporters in the entire region. If not the biggest. Maybe Iran is bigger, I can't actually remember, but it is certainly, like, the trajectory of how much money that it is making from military exports is fucking insane how quickly it's grown. And, you know, what it does to Kurdish people is abysmal. It's not something to balk at or, yeah. What did that Molten Panda say? I can't actually see Molten Panda's message. It must be in all chat. Goddamn all chat. Banned from Turkey. Is Hasan banned from Turkey? I don't know that he is banned from Turkey, but looking it up, who fucking knows? Who cares? Like, I don't even know why top chat's a thing. But yeah, Turkey is not like a place that I think many leftists are like particularly interested in and could be decried as a malign influence on the Middle East and regularly collaborates with the state of Israel. I just, like, they've just developed an obsession with it recently because they're like, aha, here's a new way to defend Israel, which is just by, what, complaining about a country that has done nothing against Israel. Like, you know. And also, by the way, the West and its allies were also funding ISIS. And in the case of fucking... The maddest case is, or one of the maddest cases I had no idea about was Libya, because ISIS is concentrated in, I can't remember which part of Libya. I can't remember where their stronghold is. My knowledge of Libya is not that good. But anyway, whilst the Libyan, like, UN-backed government were fighting against against ISIS, the UAE and its allies were literally just fucking doing nothing of the sort. Haftar was just stealing oil fields and stuff, so that's a kind of crazy one. Hasan calls out everyone, to be fair. Yeah, he does, it seems. I don't think he has a particularly soft spot for Turkey, but I don't think that matters. Hasan is Turkish and he'll never escape that evil Turk man. Chris, why do I have to learn all of this from you and not the US school system? Because I think that in the West we don't want to learn about this because it reflects very poorly on us and shatters all of our myths about who and what we are. Sorry, someone's just done some nice fan art of me. I like that. I like how they included my my HyperX quadcast. Yo. Do you Dimmy Max? Yes. Yes. I be Dimmy Maxing all the time. Because I was born a Christian, so I may be going into Janissary service. I've actually been to Turkey. I really liked Istanbul, but there's certainly a lot of like Ataturk nonsense. Ataturk nonsense. I mean, there is Ataturk nonsense. I remember even like my Kurdish friends found it particularly galling that there was like Ataturk related stuff that you'd see around, and Turks can be very racist, but yeah. You were a topic on the Do Not Worry podcast. I know, I'm still yet to watch that. I sometimes hate watching myself, to be honest. Well, I actually always hate watching myself. I know Hasan was watching the Overzealots video, and people in the chat were enjoying that, though. I saw that. But yeah, what was I going to say? Is there any sort of videos that I needed to watch today? I mean, before I get into the drama, or maybe I should do it after the drama, I'll talk about the ceasefire after the drama, especially because the reason I've relegated the ceasefire so low is because, to be honest, I don't know shit about what's actually going on, because no one seems to know shit. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why they've accepted it, but yeah. I don't think Bad Empanada would want to collaborate with me. Yeah. I mean, I just don't think that's something that he's interested in. Oh yeah, there is a stupid fucking story at the moment. I guess we can watch a bit of a Zionist propaganda video that I'm yet to watch, which is crazy. The
Western liberal mind conceives of itself as being good because it's liberal. The Western liberal tells him or herself, I'm a good person because I'm liberal, and I'm liberal because I'm a good person, which means that I believe in things like the brotherhood of man, conscience.
Thank you, Sunflower Dragon, as always. Thank you for your support and your kind words.
And compassion, looking after the wretched of the world, the poor and the wretched of the world.
She definitely chose to use that term because Fanon used it.
Standing up against abuses of power. These are all good things, and that's why I'm a liberal. And I'm a liberal because of all these good things. So, one of the expressions of my goodness and my liberalism is that I support the Palestinian Arabs, who I think are an oppressed people, and they...
By the way, for all these people who are like, these people have this vision where Palestinians are oppressed. Palestinians are oppressed.
Are oppressed by the Israelis, who have taken their land away from them.
Question about the protests in Israel yesterday. Were they only advocating for their hostages? No, they are. But even when they're not necessarily advocating for just the hostages, a lot of people are like, one, this war is not achieving anything if they're willing to call it a war. There is only a small amount who are really, really anti-genocide and stuff. The fact is that most of them are just like, yeah, we're not achieving anything at all. They're just like, we're not achieving anything. So, yeah.
And
what about Hamas, though? What about Hamas?
They are oppressing them. Now, every part of that...
Are Hamas oppressed? Yes. Like, what do you mean? Hamas are not like Hamas are an example of Palestinian resistance groups that have taken on militant means.
My view is a lie. But put that to one side. This is what the liberal progressive thinks. And the liberal progressive thinks that supporting the Palestinians is therefore something that makes the liberal progressive a good person.
Stupid fucking story at the moment would be an amazing segment. Yeah, maybe I'll do that weekly.
October 7 happened, and suddenly you have a situation in which the people that the liberal progressive has supported as being oppressed, and everything they do is a legitimate defence or resistance against oppression. Suddenly we can see that those people have turned into the most bloodthirsty savages that could ever be imagined.
You can't make this shit up, bro. Like, just the most Orientalist bullshit ever. They are the most bloodthirsty Arabs. There was literally... who was it who said... leaked records show Aaron Haliva, the military intelligence directorate, saying that Haliva asserted the fact that there are already 50,000 dead in Gaza is necessary and required for future generations for everything that happened on October the 7th. I'm sorry, but that is the most bloodthirsty, violent thing that you could possibly come up with. Yeah, we've got to punish them for future generations. Killing 50,000 people is awesome. And that's like a senior Israeli military official. And, like, what about Ben Gvir, the Israeli soldiers who put into practice these kind of things on the ground where they're running over and crushing Palestinians and making TikToks? I'm sorry, but if you're saying that Palestinians are bloodthirsty,
in which the people that they have supported as being oppressed and good people because they're victims are these savages. And the people they have represented
are these savages. The problem is what she's actually describing is the liberal mind, where Palestinians are savages and Israelis are just immoral because they cling to some nominal notion of democracy.
As oppressors are the victims. They can't have that. Because if they have that, if they admit that that is the case, then their entire worldview is shattered, because the people, you know, the cause they have supported as representing goodness is shown to be evil.
The cause that they supported has turned out to be evil. These people are very clever.
And what does that make them? It makes them evil. So they can't have it. So what do? They go to extraordinary lengths to pretend that black is white, that justice is injustice, that oppression is resistance.
What on earth is this? This is kind of the stuff of, like, people just... I feel like if you're a right-wing commentator, you can just say things. Like, Melanie Phillips is just a racist degenerate, but, you know, has a career out of it because people like it. But then again, I guess there are many people who have made careers out of being racist degenerates in everything.
And vice versa. So they have to represent the Israelis as being at fault. The Israelis are to blame for what's happened. So there is no better way of blaming people than accusing them of the very thing they are the victim of.
Projection.
So you accuse them of genocide. We hear it also regularly. The Israelis are accused of being Nazis. It's the same thing. It's not simply an offensive thing. It's a very deliberate thing, because if the Israelis are Nazis, then we are free. We, the liberal West, are free of any kind of guilt or any kind of association.
The Israelis are like the Nazis because they practice a form of identity politics. The Nazis are like... All these people would just be like, the Nazis are evil. But, like, the Nazis practiced a specific form of politics. That is what makes them so despicable and such a danger. Not just because they were, like, bad and evil. It was because they had an extremist form of politics that got worse and worse as they were endured in power.
With bad things, because they are to blame. They are the people who are bad. And so we are free to continue with our fantasies of us being good people.
I know, honestly, what an evil person, and thank you. The Canadian people love me.
And I think that's also what lay behind these amazing scenes that we saw on social media of people with their hands tearing down the posters of the hostages. Now you have...
I told this story. The first time I went to London after October the 7th, literally the first thing I saw was some guy just tearing down posters.
You have to ask yourself, what's going through the mind of someone like that? These weren't posters advertising Israel. They weren't advertising the Israeli Defense Forces.
Because ultimately what Israel cares about here is not actually the hostages. They are using them for propaganda. Like, this is just true. Like, Israel has continually done this and shown a complete lack of interest, and that's why people tore them down. The funny thing is she's like, yes, everything is fake and everyone's lying about reality, and they've all been tricked and mugged and all of these things. And it's like, hey, you know, you are trying to sit here and tell me that, like, the hostages are the real victims whilst Israel is doing genocide.
They were pictures of babies, of children, of women who had been kidnapped by bloodthirsty monsters, savage, depraved savages, and were
depraved savages. It's brilliant to hear these words from such a clearly educated lady.
Being almost certainly subjected to untold horrors. And yet they were torn down, and the faces of the people tearing them down were contorted very often with rage and hate. And you have to ask yourself, what's going on in the mind of that person? And it seemed to me that they had to literally with their fingernails tear it out of sight. It was something that could not be tolerated to be in existence at all. The very concept of...
It's so funny, like, this woman has dedicated her entire life to doing this and she's just not very good at it. I'm eating my poutine and playing hockey and watching Chris, hell yeah.
Of the Israeli babies and children as victims of the people they had been supporting, because it contradicted the narrative on which they had hung their own moral worth. And it seemed to me also they were tearing the Jews out, trying to tear the Jewish people completely out of their world, out of...
Honestly, The people who say this kind of stuff are this is like deranged. This is a really deranged person. They're trying to tear the Jews out of the world.
Their sight, out of their world, out of their minds.
They were treated well. Meanwhile, Palestinian hostages, just about every hostage, blah, blah, blah. I know there's no real valid reason for tearing down hostage posters. I'm appalled by it. I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm appalled by it, because I can understand why people tore them down. Like, in the sense of, like, some people feel very strongly that these are pro-Israel propaganda. And I know some people will be very upset by that. But, like, look at the way in which they've been used. The Israeli government has not cared at all about them. Like, the Israeli government just has not cared about them. It's fundamentally true. And so I suppose that's why people have done it, you know.
Out of their thoughts and out of their consciences. That's, to me, what it represented. And this whole inversion of gender...
Someone just put out of their promised land. I mean, yeah, like 100%. This lady is an unequivocal supporter of Israel expelling Palestinian people. I do have Twitch, but I don't use it anymore.
...genocide thing is part of that. It is not just disgusting. It is not just...
It's so funny because, like, calling Israel genocidal is disgusting because Jews can't do genocide. That is literally her argument.
Ridiculous. It's evil.
It's evil to accuse Israel of doing genocide because they're Jewish.
And I think it is a symptom of the evil paths into which the West has fallen through its embrace of a whole range of ideologies, a whole range of thinking, which I think has come to define what we call the liberal progressive West.
This is Melanie Phillips, who is an extremist. Her book, Londonistan, was on point years ahead. I see her on the bus or in a local supermarket at times, but respect her privacy. I have been at her lectures when she's on a panel. Look at this person's account. Just posting, like, from this account. Again, Adam Nawas distributes small food packages to random people in central Gaza, this time funded by Egyptian donors from Egypt, and we get an opportunity to see what's available in the market. Okay. There has been some aid going in, people are well aware of this, but it doesn't fix the problem of starvation because people can't fucking afford it. Here's her appearance on Question Time.
Let me just take you to one or two points that he has said.
That's good.
He says that the Gazans are being denied by Israel access to food and humanitarian supplies.
Yes.
This is completely untrue. There have been hundreds and hundreds of trucks going through Gaza. There have been hundreds of trucks stopped by from going through Gaza because the food is being stolen by Hamas. The Gazans themselves are saying...
Just that one person clapping. It's so fucking funny. Like, everything this lady says is a lie, but just because she's pro-Israel, that's just fine.
You laugh because you don't know. I am telling you.
But hang on. Melanie, in fairness, the UN says that not enough trucks are being allowed in and that children are dying of starvation. You've got UNICEF saying children are dying of starvation.
The UN has had its own operatives in UNRWA, the Relief and Welfare Organization, who are members of Hamas, dozens and dozens of them. They are entirely compromised.
OK, so just, Melanie, I'll let you speak, I promise, but just to be clear what you're saying, when you've got the WHO and the UN and the EU humanitarian chief saying there is famine in Gaza, you're saying that's not true.
You can go on YouTube and see pictures of the stocked...
This is how it always ends up debating someone. They're like, have you not seen the videos of the trucks?
Food markets in Gaza. Why are you laughing? Have you seen them? Have you seen them?
Actually,
have you seen the
Melanie,
video pictures?
I have looked at some of them. They don't have timestamps on them. I've got to point that out. So I don't know when these pictures were taken.
OK.
I mean, if you have proof that they were taken in the last October...
If you want to look at pictures, Melanie, I'm quite happy to send you some pictures and videos of civilians being bombed and slaughtered.
It's also just so comical because literally everything points to what Israel is doing, but, you know, just this crazy lady is going to be saying and doing whatever, and we just have to listen to her because she's Melanie Phillips and she should be on BBC primetime talk shows. Dude, Chris, I ran out of my blood pressure medication. I may have to sign off. I mean, that was a year ago, and I mean, but also, I mean, just when you look at the state of the UK, none of it's really that fucking surprising. Like, none of it's that surprising at all. Sorry, I just want to see if... Robert Jenrick, who this guy's worse than Nigel Farage, by the way. This guy is definitely worse than Nigel Farage, 100% worse than Nigel Farage. He was at a protest in Epping today, which is a place in the UK. You wouldn't know it because it's the UK. With Eddie Butler, a long-standing Nazi. Let's have a look. Whilst in charge here, Butler masterminded the Rights for Whites campaign, a locally based initiative that sought to highlight supposed council bias against the white British. The campaign, which initially presented itself as independent before linking the area directly to the BNP, was instrumental in building up support for the party in the area, which culminated in the election of Derek Beacon. But yeah, he just sounds like a very interesting character. Very interesting character. And here he is with the potential leader of the Conservative Party and potential leader of the UK, if Kemi Badenoch falls through. But here he is at the protests. The only way is Epping. Yeah, here he is just... what's this person saying? Minister says he's finding even more hotels. Added on Tuesday that Mrs. Braverman and former Home Secretary have both endeavoured to get more hotel rooms for migrants. More hotels have been coming on. Jesus Christ. Like, that's the funny thing. People like him have literally cultivated the situation in the UK where loads of migrants are just in hotels rather than, you know, like anywhere else. Like, they're literally just in these places, you know, not working, doing nothing, and now he's out there like with these protesters like, the UK's in a really fucked situation and I just don't know why. Like, it's fucking insane. The UK is such a fucked country, man. I'm just seeing if I can find this thing of Konstantin Kish. His name's Konstantin Kissin, that's why I can't find it. It's just like Konstantin Kissin, like all of these people in the UK.
They're now
like they literally have Tommy Robinson on their show.
joining together. Yeah. They're now joining together. It's mad. You now see Nick Griffin sitting down with radical Dilly Hussein. They both want supremacy. He wants white supremacy. He wants Islamic supremacy. And here they are together coming. They basically all coming together just because they hate Jews and everything's the Jews' fault. Yeah, that's what's brought them together now. But at this time,
and a lot of people in this country support that. In fact, there are some very popular podcasters in Britain who support that. People within the Five Pillars organisation, which you'll be familiar with. Some of those people have travelled recently to Afghanistan and have interviewed senior members of the Taliban.
James, can I pause you there? Because there's people going to be listening who's going to...
This guy is just like... His little sidekick is even more pathetic. Like this little lab-grown strange character who looks sort of like... I don't even know what he looks like. He looks like a character that's made out of clay.
To prick up, they're going to go, what is a Five Pillars organisation? So for them, and for me, can you explain what it is?
The Five Pillars is an Islamic network in Britain that represents, I would say, the more extreme forms of Islam, and essentially like a pressure group and a media organisation.
Horse in glasses. Are you talking about me or? But yeah, this guy is just like I mean, this guy doesn't even know anything about the Middle East or Palestine. This Konstantin Kissin guy, but he's like constantly on Question Time to talk about stuff, and he's just like a right winger. Like that's all he is.
Share with these people.
But yeah, I mean, just
Lives Matter thing as well, and this is the sickness, long-term sickness deals with. You've got people when they continue.
Like, listen to him talk about
Palestine.
Palestine.
To promise to repeat their terrorist attack. The man who was killed today was appointed to replace the man who was assassinated, who was the previous leader of Hamas, in order to demonstrate the commitment to this. Jeremy.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. Just kill people. Like, just kill people until basically you just just kill them until you get negotiations. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to
Bowen of the BBC just a few days ago interviewed one of the leaders of Hamas who refused to commit to a two-state solution, who refused to abandon the cause of terrorism. My point to you is there's an option on the table for Hamas, which is to hand back the hostages they've taken, to withdraw the threat that they have given repeatedly through their various leaders, to repeat the terrorist attack of October 7th, to hand over the terrorists who committed those atrocities for justice, and then Israel, of course, must immediately stop hostilities and negotiate for peace, of course.
I think this logic that you do what we want or we'll keep bombing you, it sounds exactly what a Hamas leader would say, because that...
Kind of interesting. You do what we want. When have Hamas said that, basically? Hamas have said... I suppose you could say, well, Hamas say that they're going to engage in militant resistance until they get a two-state solution or some kind of equitable solution for the Palestinian people. Or actually, they would say it probably for a singular state solution, but yeah.
Number of dead on October 7th, that's been life in Gaza almost every year at the hands of Israeli bombardment. If you want to talk about hostages, look at the thousands of Palestinians held in military detention, often...
Many of them who've attacked Israelis
and
with
many
knives
of whom
and
who have
terrorism.
never been convicted of anything, including children and a woman in her 80s with Alzheimer's. If what you want to do is go down a road and go, okay, unless you do what we want...
Do you agree that Hamas should hand back the hostages? Should they hand back?
Of course I do. And there should be, there should also be a ceasefire.
Let's call on them to do that.
It's so funny. Like, all these people who are like, let's call on Hamas to release the hostages. It's like, Hamas have said it over and over again. Over and over again.
Finish this thought. Right, if you keep going down this road, that violence can be endless until you do what we want. That is the exact same logic that you are decrying.
Okay. No, I'm saying Hamas should hand back the hostages. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that they should withdraw the threat of repeating October 7th?
I've said repeatedly that there should be a ceasefire for hostages.
But should they withdraw the threat of repeating October the 7th? Should they hand back the hostages? Should they hand over the terrorists who killed...
Why are you repeating questions I've answered?
You haven't answered. You've said you've called for a ceasefire, but you haven't said that...
Am I still a little bit quiet? Am I still a little bit quiet? Let me just have a listen to myself. Sorry, you're going to hear double.
A ceasefire for hostages.
But should they withdraw the threat of repeating October the 7th?
20%. Okay. Right, that should be better. Is this better, or am I still really quiet?
Should they hand back the hostages? That they should withdraw...
Let me just have a listen to myself. Sorry, you're going to hear double.
A ceasefire for...
Is this loud enough now? Let me know in the chat.
That's what they should do.
For hostages.
And should they hand over the terrorists who committed October 7th?
I think that anyone who's committed war crimes, Hamas, IDF, whoever should be held accountable.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing that you can get a platform without actually knowing about any of the things that you're talking about, but he constantly gets a platform. But, you know, that's kind of it. Sorry, I've just been messing with the audio because I was too loud previously. Right, now let's enter into the world of slop that is the life and times of Ethan Klein.
Who's exposed
by... God, where am I even going to have to go to find this fucking clip of Hasan Piker?
PFLP.
So Visegrad was even tweeting about this. It comes originally from Dan Can't Tweet, Dan Saltman.
PFLP, or even former Fatah militants. Okay? It is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral. Okay? 100%. This is not like this is not a gray area. This is black and white. Okay? It doesn't get more black and white than this. Israel is in the wrong. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza and an apartheid in the West Bank. 2 crimes in and of itself. And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in the Israelis. Doesn't matter if they're...
So this is the statement and the video that has caused major problems for Hasan with people... major problems for Hasan. I mean, we've seen the genius minds of our time, such as Tectone, saying Hasan wants to kill Ethan Hila Klein or something. I mean, like, this is Ethan Klein's friend. Denim's content nuke. Lying bitch. Kill them. Hasan calls for the death of Ethan Klein's wife.
It's like we got some more slop for the piggies. And this one, I shit you not, if you saw the title on the thumbnail, Hasan has called for the death of Ethan Klein's wife. This shit is crazy. I have yet to see this.
This shit is crazy.
Lines are true. Let's listen to this shit. What Hasan just said live in front of 40,000. Wait, let me be completely correct here. How many viewers? Hasan said this live in front of 23,000 viewers. Hasan calling for the death of H3's wife.
Matter if they're DFLP, PFLP, or even former Fatah militants. Okay. Then against
Hasan, because there's
bang. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like wife that participate in these ratings. Doesn't matter.
So, because there's a war in Israel and Palestine.
I can't believe they've put out a fatwa. I can't believe it.
Hasan says it's completely fine for you to go and kill Hila Klein because...
At a certain point, you do have to realize that this is just Ethan Klein realizing that everything is falling apart for him. Like, Ethan Klein is genuinely not a well man. Like, I have maintained, you know, I don't think Ethan Klein has a drug problem and all of these things. I think that it's just not true. I just want to see if I can find this kick clip of Ethan. Why have I not seen it? Hold on.
So we should talk about
this clip of Ethan is fucking crazy.
About this Mr. Beast stuff.
So Mr. Beast made a huge announcement.
Really good stuff here.
He's moving to Kick, which I'm going to come out and say, as someone who's a Twitch.
You know what I've been thinking about is that fucking video. I've been thinking about like this video of Mr. Beast and XQC and Aiden fucking Ross having something to say about what Hasan does for charity. I'm gonna be honest, charity in many ways is papering over a crack, and I think that when you're someone like fucking Mr. Beast who goes to like Dubai and makes like a video like, this is how awesome Dubai is! I'm spending $1 billion in Dubai, and I'm gonna have burgers in Dubai with Labubu's! It's kind of like it's kind of like this crazy thing of just like, bro, you are literally sat there doing like a water project, which yeah, it's good for people all around the world, but like, when it comes to doing this at the same time as simultaneously supporting or like going and being willing to go to the UAE and having no principles, I find it hard to find like charity really that enticing of a thing. And yes, I mean, I think that the main thing about this, I think that the main thing about this fucking Kick thing is like, why the hell are you going to, why the hell are you saying that you're willing to go over to, why the hell are you saying that you're willing to go over to Kick or multi-stream on there for money when it's literally like the most anti-Semitic platform that there is? Aren't there like, someone was telling me that there's like anti-Jewish emotes, and there are multiple articles written about like how anti-Jewish Kick is, but the truth is Kick is a platform for some right-wing extremists who in many ways are good for the pro-Israel movement, like Nick Fuentes, because then they're like, yes, all Palestinians are damned anti-Semites. Like, look, Nick Fuentes is supporting Palestine.
Hater. I hate Twitch and YouTube. I'm consistently just super disillusioned with. They take 30% from my fucking subscribers, from your guys' donations too, actually.
Just everything, right?
From everything, yeah. And we get zero support. I can't get a fucking...
Yeah, 100 million... No, $100 from Iran versus $1 million in Qatari farming.
Contact with their team.
And also, I think that all of the crypto gambling and all of that shit, and like CS gambling and all of that stuff, I know CS gambling's less of an issue, but all of that stuff was fucking dangerous because it was preying on kids, you know?
Like, they care so little about us somehow, despite us being, you know, one of the biggest live or podcasts on their channel. So I'm against YouTube in this way. I'm like,
it is also just so funny that this guy, I think that this is the problem with all of these people. Like, they literally just have no fucking morals, like, at all. Like, none of these people have any morals. Lonerbox is a fucking perfect example of this. I don't even know what the fuck Lonerbox actually believes or thinks, because there's nothing, there's nothing consistent about it. Like, Lonerbox tweeted this earlier. about like Hila's raid on Ramallah, and he was like, the fact that no one knows the answer to this question is really where this discussion begins and ends. With what we know now, the raid could have been legal or illegal. Anyone trying to argue one way or the other without more information is a charlatan. Lonerbox is saying that basically people shouldn't decry Hila's raid as illegal. It was in illegally occupied territory. Lonerbox believes that the West Bank is, I think he still believes this, that the West Bank is under an apartheid regime. Why, as a leftist, would you ever feel the need to run defense for an apartheid regime? Someone who upheld that structure. It's like these people who are like, well, technically, he's like, technically the legal opinion was close and it's non-binding, so it actually means that it's okay. But it's like, bro, you're meant to be a leftist. You're meant to be a leftist content creator. Like, surely you just have the backbone to fucking sit there and say, yeah, like, there's nothing moral or just about this, especially with the fact that people know, well, like, Hila chose to go on that raid. Like, Hila didn't have to go on that raid. Hila fucking chose to do that kind of stuff, you know? And I think that this kind of thing of, like, when you say that you're a leftist, when you say that you're anti-apartheid and you think that there are some reasonable things about the pro-Palestine movement, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why do you feel the need to run defense for this? It is so completely and utterly ridiculous. But he just doesn't care because it's just a grift for money. It's just a grift to appease, like, the last remnants of the pro-Destiny audience who are kind of like, yeah, Destiny actually did a fucked up thing when he, you know, shared sexually explicit content of women. And also the just IOF soldiers who fucking love Lonerbox because they're like, you know... A-Up Lovely had that great tweet that was like, the Israeli left is just 3 people who watch ContraPoints on their D9 bulldozer.
Against Twitch, we need some meaningful competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Beast is like a pretty insane get for them. Like, it doesn't get much more mainstream than that.
Right.
He's YouTube's biggest...
The amount of coughing in this clip is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I know it's a tick, but what? Like, why is it, like, non-stop? This didn't used to be what H3 was like, right?
Channel. Like, for them to get the biggest talent on YouTube on their platform is fucking really big for them.
Yeah, it's big. And it's becoming more mainstream. Like, I'm starting to see clips and shows on there that do kick shows where I'm like, this is, like...
just normal
content.
Good.
Yeah, this is, like, normal stuff.
Not people slamming slots for 15 hours or whatever.
There's actually normal shows and normal stuff.
He also ran, like, this anti-gambling campaign when he was friends with Hasan. No, I'm talking about Lonerbox. Lonerbox calls it Judea and Samaria now. Now, does he actually call it Judea and Samaria? I've never heard him say that, but, like, if he does, I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me at this point. Like, the guy is just an extremist.
Happening there now. And Mr. Beast being on there is a big difference. And I'll tell you guys, I've talked to Kick. We're thinking about multi-streaming. Not moving, nothing dramatic. Just broadcasting to Kick in addition to YouTube. It would change anything for you guys. It's simply...
But, like, how are you comfortable with this? Like, how are you comfortable with... Like, you've just ran a campaign. It's just like this whole, like... It's why this whole anti-Semitism stuff that Ethan has been on is just nothing more than a way to target Hasan Piker. It's really just all that these people just want. That's all that they care about. There's, like, literally just all that this people are just interested in.
A multi-streaming thing, because I think this competition at this point, it's hard. You can't ignore it anymore because it's coming so big. And now with Mr. Beast there, it's a thing, right? And the competition is important.
You would be breathing and coughing if you breathed in the horrible fumes that you, At least they aren't serial killers, so quick to judge. Yeah, anti-gambling, but proceeds to stream poker tournaments. It might be a tick, but it's exacerbated by something. Stress. It has to be stress. It has to just be that this guy is just, his life is just pure stress because he just engaged in this thing where he said he was going to deplatform Hasan. This is what Hasan Piker obsession does to a man. Live your life without thinking about Hasan Piker and everything he does constantly, and you'll be happy.
YouTube and Twitch fucking suck.
At live. YouTube at live.
YouTube sucks at live.
Their bot stuff is great.
I feel like after all the drama with Twitch, I always appreciate YouTube so much.
That's true. I think their live team, honestly, YouTube in general, their operation has always been very good.
Yeah.
I feel personally slighted.
I feel like when it comes to live.
The neglect. That's the...
It's also so funny because, like, this guy says he can't be on Twitch because of Hasan Piker, because of, you know, Frogan, Denims. But, like, the thing is that, like, you're right, like, Sneeko, Nick Fuentes, all of these people are streaming are streaming on this platform. Like, I'm trying to look through articles that Brisbane Times is writing about how racist... Oh, God, I have to pay to read an article in the Brisbane Times, and no thank you. They're just talking about this kind of stuff on Kick. But, like, yeah, I mean... I think that the thing is that this is just an example of... None of these people actually have any convictions about anything. They don't believe or care why they believe it. It's just about an audience. It is literally just about an audience. They're always like, Hasan's actually captured by his audience and is totally benevolent to them. And it's just so funny because, like, what is this? Like, what is this? This is just you talking about this. You are just willing to switch platforms to the one with the most, like, neo-Nazis on out of fucking all of them. Maybe Rumble has more. I don't fucking know.
Truth of it.
Well, it's just YouTube is so much bigger than Twitch, like by many orders of magnitude. That like just one creator is way less of a an impact.
Is, Kick is like Tom's been talking to them, and they've been very very nice. They want us to come. They're gonna put us on the homepage, like our whole podcast when we're live. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but to be honest, there's a big demo there that probably stopped watching or has seen clips and this and that, who might be interested in watching. I don't know. There might actually be.
Yeah, maybe there are quite a lot of neo-Nazis and people addicted to gambling who are interested in, and just far-right people who are interested in you because now all you do is just spread Zionist propaganda. So maybe you'll find a good crossover with Nick Fuentes and Sneeko on there and Aidan Ross. Some of the greatest minds of our time, really.
At this point, enough people on Kick that there's almost a new community that you could appeal to there. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. And I think it's great that Mr. Beast could have easily just gone to Twitch and...
Yeah, like, someone posted this. Reminder that Kick allowed anti-Semitic imagery as official channel emotes on Aiden's channel. This image on the left is fake. This image on the right is a screenshot of an emote on Aidan Ross's Kick stream. If you actually care about anti-Semitism, tons of really gross, hateful people to actually do something about over there. Yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy that you are allowed to do that on that platform. He says this as YouTube literally caved to him 100%, 100 fucking %. I mean, Kick even caved to some of it. Like, he just doesn't care. Like, this guy saw anti-Semitism in a fucking sword, but just doesn't care about this platform doing this.
Stream there.
Yeah.
But what would he be supporting? What have I been talking about the last, like, 2 years, you know?
I also love how he's, like, about to drop his thing on, like, fucking Hasan, but it's like, oh, I want to go over to a platform. I mean, actually, Destiny streams on this platform, too, so.
He went, and fuck it, you know? We also asked Kick, we're like... Be real, like, who's funding this? Is this connected to Stake? And they promised us, for whatever it's worth, that it is being funded as a traditional, tech startup by investors' money, and there's no affiliation with Stake gambling. Take that for what it is. I mean, we all know that they're owned by the same people, but that is true. I mean, if somebody wanted to make a streaming platform, I mean, they would need a ton of investor capital, and they would need to spend a lot of money acquiring people. That's just how it works, right? So, listen, I was a Kick hater for a long time, and I was always like, this isn't going to work, this is stupid, this is dumb, this is just for people to go gamble on. But over the years, Twitch has gotten worse, and Kick has gotten better. What can I say? At a certain point, it is what it is.
Kick has gotten better. Why is Nick Fuentes allowed to do a show on there? Like, what do you mean? Nick Fuentes has a show on Kick. And by the way, it's like a platform where Aidan Ross just has like a huge say on it. Does Sneeko still stream on Kick? Yes, I can literally just go and find Sneeko on Kick. From 6 days ago, I can find a stream of Sneeko on Kick. Like, it's amazing. It is genuinely amazing.
It is.
Also, I just love the big fuck you to Twitch that Kick has become.
Yeah.
I love that, and I support that.
Well, that's how it started out, right? It started off as a fuck you to Twitch.
Yeah, it did.
Companies like Kick are famously forthcoming and truthful about how their business operates / shady investors. 90% of the chat in his show is just going to be posting anti-Semitic things the first day, posting those emotes and typing terrible things. Oh, 100%.
And a lot of the big Twitch streamers are starting to multi-stream and starting to move, yeah.
I don't see any, multi-streaming is great. Again, nothing changes for you guys here. It's literally just, it's here and there. That's it. That's it. Yep. So that's what it is.
Why are you doing this? Like, honestly, why are you doing this? Why are you going over to kick? Like, it's just insane.
In her past, she was a part of the IDF, has since retired, had a family, migrated to another country, and has done nothing besides her required military service. Hasan is saying that you should be allowed, and it's perfectly legal, to go kill Ethan's wife.
It's so funny because, like, I guess we're kind of going back straight to this, but, like, genuinely, this is just a lie spread by Dan Saltman, like a guy who sponsors Ethan's podcast, who is obsessed with Hasan, who has, like, openly stated his willingness to spread lies about Hasan Piker. But, like, you know, it just doesn't matter because this is the world in which Ethan Klein exists now. You know, I can't remember how you say birds of a feather flock together in Persian. God, actually, I don't know if I want to. I actually really enjoyed Asmongold's fucking take on this.
Favorite podcasters like wife that participate in these raids, the violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth. And
no, it's not. If
No, it's not.
somebody attacks Hila Klein, they're gonna go to jail.
They're gonna go to jail.
Why is he telling people this? Why would he be what is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, but this is the problem. This is the problem. Like, Dan Saltman, who sponsors Ethan's podcast, who is legitimized by Ethan Klein, started this. Like, Ethan is here like, yeah, I need to sue everyone. I told you, Ethan Klein is just like Alan Dershowitz, just bullying people with his money. That is all Ethan Klein has the ability to do. Bully people with his money because no one likes him. This is literally what Alan Dershowitz does in Martha's Vineyard, which I learned for the first time, is not like a chain of restaurants, but is actually a place, which I was shocked to hear. But what Alan Dershowitz does, they talked about this on TrueAnon. Alan Dershowitz will get, like, I don't know, some personal issue involving people not liking him, and then he'll just be like, you know what? That is against American law. I'm suing you. And this is just what Ethan does. Like, Ethan just fucking sues people. And because no one likes him. The only people that like him are people like Asmongold, Dan Saltman, Destiny, Deplorables. I mean, maybe saying the term deplorables is not the best in the sense of, like, you know, I feel like Hillary Clinton's commentary of basket of deplorables was not actually the fucking best thing to say in the world. But, like, yeah, like, I mean, you kind of just look at this and you're just like, Jesus Christ, like, this is just what Ethan has become, litigating public opinion with a guy who makes videos about how George Floyd was not a saint. It's a bunch of wrong-uns. Yeah, it's a bunch of wrong-uns. But yeah, through that whole TrueAnon episode, the Dersh Piragi, that was a very sad video. No pierogi for you, Asman. Yes, indeed. No pierogi for Ethan Klein. I don't know. But yeah, let's put the full clip in context.
Wife that in the West Bank, doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like wife that participate in these raids, the violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
So, like, literally, this is what Ethan has created as the world in which he lives. The world in which Ethan lives is just make up anything, bro. Like, do you honestly have any sympathy for him with, like, oh, Bad Empanada's done this thing to me. Bad Empanada's done this. Bad Empanada's said this about me. He said that my house is filled with dog shit. And it's just like, bro, all you do is just lie and obsess over Hasan Piker.
Any kind of violence.
But like, I just want to watch this full thing.
Israeli settlers or the Israeli military experiences in the West Bank is literally legal. Okay.
Was that someone donating to him or someone donating to me? Because I heard the noise of the donation, but I can't see it. Michelle super chatted. Oh, there we go. I spent money, so everyone has to like the stream. Yeah, indeed.
Okay. It is legal resistance against an occupying military force. I cannot.
Sorry, I'll put this back.
Like any kind of violence that Israeli settlers or the Israeli military experiences in the West Bank is literally legal. Okay. It is legal resistance against an occupying military force. I cannot repeat this enough. Just like any kind of violence that the Israeli occupying force experiences in the Gaza Strip is actually, once again, totally legal and totally moral resistance.
Like, I mean, this is something that, like, all of these fucks would go, that's insane. But, like, I mean, Ethan doesn't believe anything that he says, because Ethan Klein has said, yeah, I think the IOF are terrorists. I think that, like, the settlers are valid military targets. He went even further than just saying the IOF, which, by the way, they fucking are, because of the way in which, like, the IOF operates and exists within the West Bank, and even their settlers, and how they basically act as a surveillance situation for the Gaza Strip. But, yeah, like, honestly, it's so ridiculous.
By the Palestinians. Doesn't matter if they're the Al-Aqsa Brigade. Doesn't matter if they're a part of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Doesn't matter if they're DFLP, PFLP, or even former Fatah militants. Okay? It is perfectly legal, perfectly valid.
Hold on. I'm not a Hasan fan. Blocking all clip spam, but Ethan is such a huge waste of space on this platform. If you're talking about, do you mean me using him? Because the whole reason, like, I've openly admitted this over and over again. One of the reasons that I will talk about Ethan is because it attracts more people to realize who I am. Because the truth is that, like, I was thinking about this earlier. I have 400,000 followers on Instagram. I know on TikTok. I have 100,000 on Instagram. I am followed by, like, a lot of people who know who I am. And yet, I am still, I have, like, always struggled to, like, receive, like, just decent amounts of attention outside of TikTok. And I know that this sounds, like, very self-centered, and perhaps it is, but I do think, in part, it is because of the fact that I am so unequivocally anti-Israel, and that I am educated and capable of speaking on this topic. And so one of the ways that I've found to do this is by using YouTube, and all of a sudden more people know who I am, and are sort of supporting me outside of TikTok. And so by talking about Ethan, it's a way to do this, and to, like, bring more people to my content. But even if that is what, that isn't what you meant, that's kind of why I'm talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying, like, I'm not saying that I'm big time. I know there are many people with bigger TikToks than me and having decently sized followings on TikTok, but even amongst friends, and this is by no means to diminish them, it's just like I see friends, like, having opportunities to go on TV and do things and talk about this in a public forum. It just doesn't happen for me. But yeah, it just doesn't happen for me. 2 years, I had 80,000 followers pre-genocide, talking purely about Palestine. Like, that's it. Talking purely about what is happening in Palestine, pretty much. Well, not purely. There was other stuff on my platform. But I just, you know, no one was really doing anything about it. But I don't know.
And perfectly moral. Okay?
And it's not like it's not. Also, don't call Hila a horse. There's just no need for it. Like, she's not a nice person, but, like, I don't feel like insulting her on a personal level. Actually, then again, they were calling me a cum guzzler, so I actually feel no need to, like, to sort of, and also calling me Chris C-word slur. I don't know if I can say it on here, because for some reason my last one was demonetized, so I assume it's using that word. But yeah, like, I'm not actually that fussed about it.
100%. This is not like a black and...
I suppose that is kind of the problem of just being unequivocally anti-Israel and unequivocal in my convictions, you know.
This is not a gray area. This is black and white, okay? It doesn't get more black and white than this. Israel's in the wrong. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza and an apartheid in the West Bank. 2 crimes in and of itself. And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
Didn't China assert this?
Palestinian people use force to resist foreign oppression and complete the establishment of an independent state is inalienable right. This recognition is also reflected in international conventions. For example, the Arab Convention for Suppressing of Terrorism of 1990.
Ethan Klein needs a Sonichu medallion because he is getting into dangerous lolcow territory. How long do you think it's before he's caught sending nude pictures of Hasan to Dan Saltman that he took whilst on leftovers? Like photos he took up Hasan Piker's shorts on leftovers.
98 affirms, I quote, the right of peoples to combat foreign occupation, aggression by whatever means, including armed struggle, in order to liberate their territory.
But like, and I think what is actually just so sinister, and like, you know what, like, Hasan is like, is not litigating public opinion. And like, I don't love just suing people. I think it's a shitty precedent to set. But like, Bad Empanado has spoken about this. At some point you do have to say, like, this guy has spread like a major lie about me on the internet. He sponsors the H3 podcast. He is like someone who is just like endangering me and allowing this world of fucking slop tubers who are saying like, you know, Tectone releases a video 21 hours ago. Hasan calls for the death of Ethan Klein's wife, ... Legal mindset. Hamas, Hasan Piker guilty of terroristic threat. Fast facts. It's just like, what is this? This is started by Ethan's partner. Like, his partner. Someone who is sponsoring Ethan Klein's show has started this. Like, it's unbelievable.
And secure the right to self-determination and independence. End of quote.
I mean, like, yeah, China's stance is a bit bizarre. But, like, I guess individual politicians in China have probably some different takes on it. And also, what China is happy with is the current status quo. Although, because, like, whilst America presents itself as being, you know, so different from China, China was the biggest investor in US government bonds, right? But I'm not actually 100% sure that that's true anymore. I think other countries have overtaken it. We live in a post-truth era. Thank you for the Canadian $7. But, I mean, good news travels fast, but bad news has wings. That's from Dota 2. That's the only place that's the only place where that's actually from. That's a Dota 2 character quote.
Armed struggle in this context is distinguished from acts of terrorism.
See, this is the complex thing about living in the UK as a country, because, like, is that legal? Because if you talk about Palestinian resistance generally and saying, like, Palestinians have an inalienable right to armed resistance, then that's okay. But, like, if you, like, yeah, I don't know. They're intentionally misconstruing a clip to egregiously claim that Hasan is saying that Hila is... Yeah, I mean, this is just 100% what it is. And I think it is insane that this is like, there is no two ways about it. This is someone who Ethan Klein has legitimized, like a 50-year-old man with like an insane obsession with Hasan Piker. These two, the combined age of Ethan Klein and Dan Saltman is like 1 million, you know? It is cooked, you know? Them and like Legal Mindset, like what a brilliant meetup. What a brilliant meeting of the West's finest minds. The fans of the collective are basically human goldfish. They'll see a clip and have someone tell them, this means something else. Yeah, I mean, because these people are never like... It's like when Ethan was talking about the thing about all those clips of Hasan, you know, ostensibly showing nudes to everyone. It's like, what is the actual context? Like, this is the problem. How can you believe any of these people? Because Ethan will have got them from Dan Saltman, Destiny. Dan Saltman will be like messaging him like, hey man, just sent you $100,000 for you to pay your crew for your shitty show. Also, check out these clips of Hasan that you should definitely make a video about. They're definitely in context. And Ethan goes, yeah, thank you, man. Nightmare blunt rotation. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They're older than Jimmy's. Will you? How is school going? I don't go to school. I'm 24. Is Chris's Phoenix? I can't read how you say Phoenix, but I can see it ends with oos. But I'm gonna have to zoom in on that. Oh no, I've gone too far. Kakanus? Is that how you say Phoenix? Kakanus? I don't know. However you say it. Thank you. Nowadays, most people don't even watch. Legal mindset is a passport, bro, by the way. Oh, bro, legally speaking, you can't be saying that. You can't be saying that. Americans think you can storm the Capitol because your favorite guy lost to genocide, but not violent rejection of genocide. I mean, 100%. You can't violently. These people just don't believe anything. These people don't believe anything. They literally refused to call what Trump did what they did for Trump an insurrection. They were like, yeah, it was just a protest, man. Oh, sorry, like an attempted coup. They called it an insurrection rather than just an attempted coup. Passport bro is someone who goes over to Asia to have sex with women there. But then look at Destiny. Even the Nazis weren't this blatant. Wait, what is this, man? This is just so far beyond the pale. It's unbelievable. I honestly think you could perfectly justify attacking/killing Hasan IRL for statements like this. Does anyone have a link to this video directly? Like, this man is talking about killing Hasan Piker and, like, his little community. There's someone who says that they're, like, that they want to do it. Put me in screenshot, blah, 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 blah. I can't remember if this is it. But yeah, like, the thing is that, like, this is just Destiny's community of just people who are like, yeah, we could kill Hasan Piker because of this. Oh, I've just accidentally closed the stream. Hold on 1 second. You might hear me for a second, sorry. I mean, it's funny as well because all of these people who are like, yeah, Hasan should probably be arrested and shot for this, are just, like, fine with Destiny doing this. Like, Destiny is someone that they consider, like, a friend. Like, he literally does a podcast with the sponsor of Hasan. Sorry, the sponsor of the H3H3 podcast. It's just, like, truly unbelievable. Like, truly. Hila had an awesome response to this. Hasan Piker, who was exposed by my husband. Oh yeah, you don't want to get exposed by Ethan. You don't want to get exposed by Ethan Klein, has retaliated by calling for violence against me. Think back and you'll notice a trend. When he wants to get at Ethan, he attacks me. This is just another glimpse into the psyche of a man that does not see women as his equal. He uses women. Oh, thank you, Do Not Worry. Shout out to you guys. I hope you're doing well. To whatever ends he needs, be it revenge, sexual gratification, or to massage his ego by exposing their nude bodies without their consent to his boys. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bro, your husband was trying to platform a sex offender, well, like someone who has allegations by one of your own staff against him. Like, one of your own staff accused him of stuff, and your husband was like, I'd actually like to bring him back, and openly said, I was protecting him. I was trying to protect you, Jimmy.
My husband to be.
And then Ethan was mad because Hasan said that
discussing creepers have retaliated by calling for violence against me. Think back and you'll notice a trend. When he wants to get at Ethan, he attacks me. This is just another glimpse into the psyche of a man who does not see women as his equal. Okay.
It's such a funny story. It's up there with Ethan's one of I standing with great people of Persia.
Okay, dude. This is literally girl bossing genocide defense.
And then they're talking about the majority report.
I haven't voted very much. I think I voted once. And it is racist. It's not always racist, especially when it doesn't involve people's race. But it is a racist thing to say. Like here's an. I guess this could be one of those things that people, these people create an importance in their head. Like, I don't know, like, I've never had that feeling. I haven't voted very much. I think I voted once. And I think it was for well, no, it couldn't have been for Romney, because I don't think I was 18 by that point.
They create a false narrative, then cite themselves, themselves live. She also doesn't see Palestinians as people, but okay. I mean, this is someone who said that she was denying that Israel, targets journalists. Like, where's that clip of her talking about journalists?
About it. Lots of like I've talked to Palestinian journalists and they've like wanted me to come out.
Really? Wow. Oh my God.
And I can't get any security assurances against Israel, obviously.
Well, bro, it's not like Israel
that is worried
Look,
about.
it's not like Israel's going to do a precision strike on Hasan. They don't fucking.
Yeah,
but it is dangerous. It's a war zone. Like, I agree, it's dangerous.
Sure, it's a war zone.
I love how Olivia chimes up and says they might, which Israel has killed international activists. Like, that is something that Israel has done. To be honest, I doubt they'd kill Hasan just for the backlash of it all. Wouldn't be worth it. Hasan is not someone big enough to kill. But yeah,
they may.
But what?
He was in the running for anti-Semite of the year. They may.
Nah,
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
They're not.
Israel doesn't work like that.
It's not. Regardless, I agree. It's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous in a war zone.
Right.
It's not dangerous in a war zone. Israel has targeted journalists systemically.
Not because Israel will like target him.
I don't think it's like that personally,
like
but I think he's giving himself a little too much credit there.
These are just some of the stories of journalists who set out to tell the truth about Israel's war on Gaza. And these are the names of all the journalists.
But yeah, I mean, like, this is just like, all Ethan does is just make shit up at this point. Like, his friends are actually putting death threats on Hasan. Like, that's actually just what they're doing.
I hate his purple room.
I'm just looking through to see if
Would
there's
you
any,
say that you're like...
Call it our longing for the return of...
And...
But yeah, like, just...
Ethan Klein will call you a...
Yeah, it's just... Anti-Semite of the Year has to go to Mondale's for changing the cream egg recipe for a continued. Ethan accusing anyone of giving themselves too much credit is rich as fuck. I mean, like, Ethan and Hila are just people who don't care about the Gaza genocide. Did they even bother to mention Anas al-Sharif being killed? Like, did they even bother to mention? Like, no? They just didn't bother mentioning this. Like, this is just not something that they care about. Literally all that they care about is just fucking finding a way to say that Hasan is the most evil person ever because he talks negatively about the state of Israel. Like, that's just it. That's just it. Like, Hasan talks negatively about the state of Israel, so he's the world's most evil anti-Semite, and no one should even use the platform that he uses because, you know, he's the most immoral man ever to have walked the earth, but... AB, absent backbone. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that. Like, AB just largely has no backbone.
I have no...
But I just want to see if I can find the video of Ethan saying settlers are valid military targets, because he did say that. But yeah, I mean, just fucking insane. He follows orders from his master, Hamas. They probably asked their audience to help Palestinians like Anas al-Sharif by donating to Realign for Palestine. Indeed, actually, yeah. Thank you, Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib. Thank you, Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib, for living in Gaza for 5 years and then doing propaganda for Israel.
Rather than concede the point, which is that if he thinks that Hila is not a terrorist, then obviously Rashid, the Yemeni kid, is also not a terrorist, given that he was never a part of any armed group, he never participated in anything that can be remotely considered a terrorist attack, etc. That was the point that Hasan was trying to make. So it doesn't make any sense to say that that guy is a terrorist, but that Hila Klein, who factually volunteered, who applied for a transfer from an office job in Tel Aviv in the IDF terrorist group. So the point just outright stop with a brain. Don't know what you're talking about. That point, Ethan Klein just outright fucking said live on air that his wife is a terrorist.
Arrested, like stabbed people, like you don't know what you're talking about.
Talk about how fucked
okay,
up
fine.
that
My wife's a
was.
terrorist, bro. What the fuck? It's so boring.
Stop. This guy is such a fragile, little egotistical bitch that before conceding a single point, an introspective person with a brain would have said, you know, I never thought about it like that. You're right. He's probably not a terrorist or something like that. Instead, he's just like, yeah, my wife's a terrorist. This guy was put in the fucking doghouse when he got...
Because these people don't believe anything. These people don't believe anything.
home. Like, during this stream, he said it was a genocide, and he said that his wife's a terrorist, and he said the IDF are terrorists. Holy shit, if Hila saw that, it's over. The divorce is 100% fucking coming. Jesus. So I want to, let's look at this. So Ethan, who again, I said in the intro to this series, he pretended that he thinks it's genocide and that the IDF are terrorists. And then he went on to say that everyone who fights against the IDF and the genocide are wrong for doing so. And this is the part specifically about the terrorist thing.
Against and resisting against Israel's genocide, which they stopped, by the way. They literally stopped when Israel actually followed through on a ceasefire. If they were just, you know, erroneously and randomly fucking trying to claim ships because they're pirates, they want to live the pirate life, then obviously they wouldn't have stopped doing that, don't you think? And they only started their blockade after Israel started starving Gaza again, and then also turned around.
What does that have to do with innocent sailors?
Innocent sailors, he says. Innocent sailors. I love that fucking talking point. So if there's a genocide going on, and the shipping companies force their crews to try to run an openly declared blockade, how is that possibly to be blamed on the people who are carrying out the blockade? How? How exactly? How is it not the fault of the shipping companies for forcing that upon...
Refresh the stream. What's the problem? It's laggy as hell for me too. Is it laggy? Hold on. It shouldn't be lagging.
Their workers. Like, how exactly, what are they supposed to do? Like, oh, wait, this ship is going to Israel. By the way,
yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm still watching this. Sorry, I'm kind of just reading chat and looking at this. Like, the whole thing is that just, like, look, none of these people care about anything they're talking about, like, at all. They'll say anything and everything about Hasan because it's just like, yeah, may as well. All they want is to just deplatform Hasan. Like, all they want. That is the only thing that these people want. Like, what did Hasan even say about this? In that debate, H3 lowered Hasan's microphone. That part doesn't fucking surprise me. God, I remember reacting to that. That was crazy.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but the terminally online gossip slop entertainment is being used as a vehicle to try to deplatform me for doing exactly that. And not only that, but also it has led to people issuing active death threats to their communities against me. So I think it's a little bit different than just like immature online gossip slop. At what point does it turn into like a real crime? I think this is the point where it has turned into a real crime. But
I do feel quite sorry for Hasan, and it's also kind of one of the reasons that I've always wanted to stay away from people like Destiny, because like these people are crazed. Like, you see some of the people on the internet who like are like on certain forums and stuff, and the things that they're saying and doing to content creators that I hate, bro. It's fucked. It's crazy. But you know, I guess it's part and parcel of also like the blessing of being able to do and make content.
Will you consider it to be something beyond online?
everything is dialectical.
On gossip slop when I either get deplatformed or when I get killed, potentially, by a psychotic cult fan.
I mean, I guess, like, the DDG community does have a lot in common with, sort of cults. Because, like, it's built around a crazed guy with pretty incoherent views and thoughts who's willing to say and do anything, and all his fans worship him because of that. And also, you know, generally in cults, they kind of have sex with their fans, normally, or the people who are adherents of the cult. So, you know, Sorry, also someone is claiming that Hasan Piker is pro-Turkish fascism because he did the Grey Wolf sign. Hasan Piker cultivated the fan base with the exact same cognitive sorry, it's telling me to turn on channel insights on my YouTube. But yeah, I just mean, like, you gotta feel
that's a death threat. If I can't be upset about an active death threat, what can I be upset about? If an active death threat is considered gossip slop online.
Like, I just don't think it can be reiterated enough. Hasan Piker did not make a death threat towards towards Hila Klein. Didn't say that. The guy who's I'm sorry, that part is just crazy. The guy who basically sponsored who sponsors Ethan Klein's podcast, created this whole myth. Like, these people just live in a fucking fantasy world of just like, how can I wake up and make Hasan seem like the worst person ever today? And it's just, sadly, that's all these people want to do, because they don't actually care about politics. It's literally just a game of, like, who they support and care about. Like, it's nothing to do with actual opinions or forming the basis or caring about what people say. Like, they don't give a fuck about this. And, like, yeah, someone has also posted a clip of...
Cringe, bro.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Actually, earlier says,
and here's someone else.
this drama is escalating to a really scary place. Let's watch Asmongold's clip here as well.
If it's your favorite podcast, there's like a wife that participated in these raids, the violence that the Palestinians...
We've actually already done this, so I'm not gonna watch
Would
this.
you say that you're like...
I'm not gonna watch that. But yeah, I just mean, like, I don't know if there's really anything more to cover on this. I mean, Lonerbox is saying, like, just utter dog shit. But that's not surprising. The only last person to cover is that Hutch fucking freak guy who's like a COD streamer. Like, honestly, like, why is this Hutch guy even now thinking he can talk about Israel and Palestine? I thought he said something about it.
People might agree with our worldview, empathy first politics, but they don't have the...
Ethan is busy standing with the great people of Persia. Also, sorry, I missed a super chat. Hasan throws signs to recruit a new janissary. For real, real. Poor Drew Pavlov.
Worldview, empathy first politics, but they don't have the tools to recognize...
No one is talking about empathy politics. By the way, I can promise you that those guys at the church down the street have a way better moral compass than you deranged freaks. What is he even talking about? If you can't understand why referencing Hila in the specific context was wildly... This is like these people. They're just like, yeah. To take a jab at Hila like that after CPS and the skulls is really disgusting behavior. Do these people have any decency left in them at all? Like, bro, what? Like, what is this? What is this? After the CPS and the skulls. Like, Hila Klein undeniably participated in a raid in the IOF, and that is what Hasan was talking about. That is what the reference was towards. And, like, you know, pointing to the fact of, hey, she did this. You know? She did this. But, like, of course, these people are never going to care. Never, ever, ever, ever going to care. But yeah, I guess that's sort of the end of that, because I don't really have anything more to say on it, and I don't really care to. Can you show us your socks? No, I'm not wearing any socks. Hutch makes such a great case for denying mediocre white men internet access. Perhaps. Perhaps. Perhaps we should just turn off the internet for everyone. I'm not sure it's been a great thing. I'm really not sure it was a great thing at all. It's just a space of just disinformation that's promoted by social media platforms. I mean, Elon Musk literally bought Twitter and turned it into a platform that just does as he wants and wishes. It's crazy how much exposure has been gifted to Lonerbox by H3, and he still can't get any views or relevance. Because I think that ultimately, like, Lonerbox dug his own grave by just basically forming a relationship with Destiny and that blowing up in his face, because Destiny is like a horrible, horrible individual.
Podcaster.
He's just a horrible, horrible guy. And so, yeah. Make yellow pages great again. Yeah, we should ban the internet and everyone should just have to go on through the yellow pages. What makes someone wake up and get off on sending death threats to people? I don't know. There's a guy who just sent me, like, constant death threats, and he lived in the same place that I lived, and he was like, next time I see you, you'll be in a pool of your own blood. And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, you know, like, some of you people are crazy. Some of you'll be crazy. Right. So, I guess that's the main thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. Within the context of a fascist state, it'll be easy to accuse a rival on hearsay. They'd love to black bag Hasan. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what they kind of want. Like, they want the UK government to... the American government to just black bag Hasan Piker. Ready Player One was right. What was it right about? Death threats are as old as the internet. Make Reader's Digest great again. Lonerbox's wife had promised him she never slept with Destiny, and she was one of the women whose news released after she slept with Destiny before meeting Lonerbox, apparently. Yeah, I don't think it was Lonerbox's wife. I don't think that's true. Is it really not working? I think it is working. Yes, his main fan base retained were Israelis, literally. Yeah, Israelis and sort of like, I don't know what people call them, but they're just like the really sort of fucking like pro-Ukraine, like just pro, but also pro like American imperialism and American empire. Like, but yeah. Also, by the way, just before we finish this, someone had a good tweet. That right-wing grift is about to be hard. The right-wing grift is already begun for H3. The right-wing grift began ages ago. Like, look at the people who he's associated with. Like, look at it. He doesn't care about what he's saying. He doesn't care about anti-Semitism. He doesn't care about anything. It is literally just a means of engaging, of gaining views, support. That's all he wants, because he's just losing everything. Like, he's just losing everything. He's lost the tiny shred of credibility, he said. Even while they're normally closer to my position, there is something about the vacuity of liberals like Hutch that grates even more than Asmongold's outright awfulness. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the way in which they sort of pretend to be people who are, like, you know, really interested in, you know, like, good and moral things, and that they're so much better. I think it's also because they're so, like, conceited. In the sense of, like, they're just like, yeah, I'm so much better than you. I'm so much better as a leftist. And I am actually, like, really just and moral. And you're all crazy on the Palestine situation. And I'm just trying to take a balanced opinion. And it's just like, bro, you are literally just supporting genocide. Like, that is it. Like, you are unwilling to abandon Zionism. And thereby you support Israel in its policies of extermination towards the Palestinian people. Zionism is not some benign thing. This has always been what it is destined for, you know? Like, it's just so ridiculous. Ethan's true grift was pretending to be progressive. Indeed. Self-serving, conceited, you know. Hochnäsig, which is, I think, how you say it in German. Hochnäsig. Snobby, snobbish, stuck up. It means high-nosed. It's like because some of the funny thing about translation of German words is crazy because we have certain German words that are like worldview, which is like perfect in English, but yet people you still use Weltanschauung. But Hochnäsig, we have translations, but nothing as good as high nose. What's a Jersey shirt stream? As in the Jersey Shore. Did someone say my name? Lol, lol, lol. What did I say? Another day YouTube won't work. Sag. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I'd want to watch. I guess we'll talk about the ceasefire. I just want to see if there's any clips to kind of talk about, because it's probably better than going through a Guardian article. Actually, I'd taken my headphones off because I was kind of blessed by not having to wear my headphones. But, Jesus Christ, like, I open Twitter and it's just discussing film, tweeting about first trailer for Good Boy, described as a horror film shot from the perspective of a dog who sees its owner haunted by supernatural spirits. Jesus Christ, that film sounds awful. Right, I know Sky News had a thing on it.
From Hamas has told Sky News that the group has agreed to the ceasefire and hostage deal that was presented to Hamas on Sunday by Egyptian and Qatari mediators. Well, let's go.
That movie will not be cool. Behave.
To the region now and bringing our international correspondent Diana.
I actually refuse to tell you the name of that film now, because if you go and watch it, there'll be problems.
Magne. Diana, great to have you with us. So what do we know was in this deal presented to Hamas?
So it seems to have been in similar parameters to Steve Witkoff's 60-day ceasefire deal, which was under discussion before and then was broken off at the end of July. And then we saw Benjamin Netanyahu promise to escalate and push forward. And certainly Israel and also Donald Trump today seem to be...
Horror movie about a dog who speaks Hebrew in Gaza. Hebrew-speaking dogs in Gaza.
Pushing a very hard line. We heard from the Prime Minister's office here in Israel on Saturday that they would only do a deal if all the hostages were released all in one go. And we just had this social media post from Donald Trump saying that the hostages will only be returned.
I don't know if Trump is now trying to end what's happening in... I don't know if Trump is now trying to end what's happening in Russia as basically a win and then let Israel carry on, basically.
If Hamas is destroyed. And yet at the same time, what we understand from Hamas now in relation to this deal is that it would be within this 60-day ceasefire framework, but it would be a release of prisoners and detainees in two parts. Now, what we understand from Arab channels is that Hamas agreed to it without major alterations. What is clear is that Egypt and Qatar, the mediators, and possibly Hamas too, feel the pressure that Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to push further into Gaza City is...
I think that the main problem for Israel is that Gaza City will be very dangerous for them in terms of the amount of soldiers that are going to die. So, I mean, like, obviously Israel will just be able to overpower Hamas with firepower and move towards its plan of ethnic cleansing, because that's what it's doing instead of trying to defeat Hamas. It is not trying to fucking defeat Hamas. That is not what Israel is trying to do. And so I guess this is kind of the thing, and it kind of remains to be seen what Israel is going to do, you know?
Is putting on them that this really is the last moment when they could possibly strike a deal. And that's why you've had mediators over the weekend in Cairo trying to get some kind of plan on the table. And this morning, the Qatari Prime Minister flew into Cairo to speak to Hamas officials. And
yeah, I mean, I heard them say, were Hamas wearing suits to the meeting with Egypt? Oh, probably. I don't know enough about fucking Bolivia, but I mean, most countries are cooked at this point, I think. Although, you know what? I was listening to the Y Theory podcast and they were talking about how, like, just right-wingers and left-wingers just also both have this kind of catharsis in thinking that there's an end coming. And they were talking about climate change and how people kind of just, it's like a way that's cathartic in the sense of like the world will end at some point and everything as we know it will end in a certain way. So what's the point of doing anything? And, you know, some people do take up that position.
Other Palestinian factions who were around the table. So the big question...
And also, I saw all these people debating about, like, why Israel matters. And, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot. Like, I have my opinions about why Israel matters. But never forget that Israel is paramount to the vision of the new Middle East that America has been trying to form for decades with, like, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, these countries all in line with Israel. But, yeah.
Question is, will Benjamin Netanyahu agree to this? You know, is it posturing by Israel and by the United States now to try and put pressure on Hamas to try and secure a ceasefire deal in these last few days before the IDF pushes into Gaza City and beyond? Or does he have no intention of doing that anyway? And I think if you speak to a lot of people on the street here in Israel, tens of thousands of whom came out on Sunday.
Yeah, of course, there are a lot of fantasists who are like, oh, Israel's going to bring out the second coming Christ. I mean, we literally spoke about it yesterday. We spoke about it yesterday with Judge Sebatunde from the ICJ, like, who's the vice president of the ICJ, talking about how she believes the end times are coming. There are these people who are just, like, hard right-wingers talking about this shit, you know.
Day on this nationwide day of stoppage to try and ask Benjamin Netanyahu, please don't escalate further, strike a deal. This is the last time, otherwise we are in this forever war. And essentially he gaslit them. He accused the hostage families of being the ones making Hamas break out of ceasefire talks and that they would be responsible for the deaths of the hostages if it came to that and for a forever war. You know, we shall have to see whether it is his intention at any point to agree to a ceasefire or whether this is just too late now and he will use the opportunity to push on in Gaza. We're trying to work out at the moment whether that deal in terms of prisoners and...
Down to 144p. Am I? Am I really? Is it really not looking good? Oh, fuck's sake.
And hostages would involve a one-for-one exchange. That was apparently one of the points that Hamas wanted, that for every hostage they would have, essentially, if they were exchanging all their hostages, all of those detainees in Palestinian Israeli jails would come out too. We don't know the details on all of this. What Israel wants is all their hostages, dead and alive, out.
Why can't you get... Can you really not get my stream to work? Are there really major problems with it? Let me just refresh and have a look. Is the internet really cooked on here?
In one go. They want the complete demilitarization of Hamas. What Hamas wants is to be sure that Israel is going to agree to end the war within that 60-day ceasefire and that they say that they don't want to put their arms down until that is agreed and that the IDF withdraw from Gaza. So there is a lot still to be worked out. And
do you know why the Samson option... Do you know why it's actually called the Samson option? Because, like, I'm no biblical scholar, but the Samson option is basically called it because, like, Samson got blinded by the Philistines and then he pulled down a pillar in Gaza and killed himself and everyone. So, like, the Samson option basically just refers to Israel killing itself and everyone there, which is kind of crazy, but
pressure is very, very high. But I think this is a good sign at this stage that Hamas have agreed to this proposal and that Israel will have to take that seriously. And as a marker of where we are in all of this, the Gaza Ministry of Health today announced that the death toll there is 62,000, just under 2,000 people killed seeking aid. You know, a deal, as has been the case for the last 22 months, but a deal could not come fast enough.
That's why it's called the Samson option. I read a great essay in Parapraxis about this, which I actually still need to finish. I've only got like the last little bit to finish in. What's it called? It's called... Parapraxis is a really good website. I think they may have changed the name of it, but... no, this one. Fugitive Solidarities. He talks about it here. Dylan Sabat. I talked about this the other day. The Gates of Gaza is a reference to the episode of the life of the biblical character of Samson, who plays an essential role in Israeli self-mythologizing as a symbol of overwhelming strength, anxiety, and self-destruction. This is the interesting thing. Like, Samson is also a figure of self-destruction. The Bolivian left split due to ACA going neoliberal, while the old indigenous leader was accused of pedophilia, which could be a sting operation. Interesting. I mean, I don't know anything about that. Perhaps he could be. I'm actually just not 100% sure. I don't know anything about that. But yeah, this stuff is really... This is a really good essay. But Parapraxis also has Filth Feed Going Forward, which I don't know what it is. On Skibbity Toilet, which is probably a very interesting essay. But yeah, I mean, like, all of this stuff with the ceasefire, I don't know why I really played that video. It was kind of fucking pointless, because obviously Sky News is not going to give great analysis. Look, there has been one key reason for a lack of a ceasefire. There has been one key reason for, like, a lack of a ceasefire. And that is the fact that Israel does not want a permanent ceasefire, but Hamas does. Hamas does want a permanent ceasefire, and Israel consistently refuses it because it's not in Israel's interest. Israel has made clear that its plan is to occupy and annex parts of the Gaza Strip, large parts of it, with the goal of expelling vast swathes of Palestinians so it can move in Jewish settlers. Like, that's what Israel wants, and we know that. We've known that for a very long time. So, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of insane. What are you talking about? The ceasefire? Why do you keep saying there was a list leaked? What do you mean the list? Well, I'm not sure. They didn't add Hamas around. Sky News is not as bad for that in the UK, but I mean, still, it's Sky fucking News. But yeah, Israeli officials say they still haven't received the written Hamas response and therefore cannot say whether they find it acceptable. Netanyahu, in a statement, I hear the reports in the media and from them you can gather one thing. Hamas is under immense pressure. The second source said the proposal Hamas accepted is a partial deal for a 60-day ceasefire, the release of 10 live hostages, 18 deceased hostages, and the release of Palestinian prisoners. The news comes just hours after Trump urged Israel to expand its attacks on Hamas, saying the hostages would not be freed until Hamas was confronted and destroyed. I mean, also, I think it's part of Hamas trying to ensure that Israel doesn't take a lot of Palestinian land. It feels good to have a true unknown left. Thank you, Alan. I'm glad to hear that you found me through Hasan and you enjoy it. Thank you very much. But yeah, Trump's comments align with Netanyahu. They also came a day after more than 200,000 Israelis took to the streets to demand Netanyahu. That's the crazy thing, though. That's just not that many Israelis. Like, that is not. Also, it doesn't say what demographic that is. So whether that's Palestinians living inside Israel, or that's, yeah. Or that's, you know, whether that's, like, what the demographics of all of that are. But who knows? Who knows? Honestly, who fucking knows what's actually going on? Like how large those are and what all those people are protesting for, because in a sense I think many of them will just be protesting because they don't want their children to go into Gaza and get killed. Egypt is next for the chop. What do you mean Egypt is next for the chop? Why would Egypt be for the chop? Egypt's fine. Like, Egypt's a country that is buying loads of weaponry from the West funded by the UAE. Egypt is a country that has huge monetary struggles, and yet they are receiving considerable amounts of, and yet somehow they were buying tons of weapons, like constantly, because they're given money by the UAE to buy weapons and to ensure that the military regime there doesn't collapse, because it's pliant with Israel and it's good in the sense of it keeps a lid on protesters. I've already spoken about the Matt Hasan thing. I spoke about it yesterday, but it's not that exciting. I don't have that major a take on it. You know, I said it's not a great thing, but yeah. Greater Israel project stuff. Yeah, but like it's only parts of the Sinai that Israel are interested in Egypt. It's not all of Egypt, really. Egypt helped to defend Israel. I mean, Egypt helps maintain the blockade with the Gaza Strip. Egypt could march down there and say, right, we have to get humanitarian aid in, you know, but they're not going to because that's not what they want to do. Do you think it was wrong of Hamas to insist on a permanent ceasefire? Some people argue along the lines of they're not going to keep their word anyway, so demand things right now instead. No, I don't think it's bad to demand a permanent ceasefire. Hamas demanded a permanent ceasefire last time, and it was Israel that fucked it. And I guess maybe you're right in the sense of like, well, Hamas should have known that they were going to just fuck it, and they just weren't going to do it. But I think it's hard. I think it's hard in the sense of like, what do you expect? You really need to argue for a hard ceasefire. Like, you have to, because that's the only thing that will stop what Israel is doing. Yeah, 79% of Jewish Israelis are not troubled or not so troubled about the humanitarian crisis in the Palestine. Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. Well, just tired of it. Not because it's a humanitarian crisis, it's just not entertaining enough. Yeah, I suppose, like, it doesn't generate interest, but also the fact is that he believes that he can get a good deal, and also, like, trying to bring Russia closer to the West, probably in part of a more unified strategy against Iran, maybe as part of it, and China. I mean, that might be part of it. Like, I don't 100% know. I don't trust the deal. Yeah, I don't trust this deal one bit. The problem is that it seems like Israel will just move towards doing more genocide, basically. That's what Israel wants to do. There's no guarantee that Israel won't resume the genocide. So why would one make the assumption that Israel will that Israel will not resume the genocide? Israel will always want to do that. That is what Israel wants, and Israel is going to do. Yeah. Like, it's just hard because, you know, you sit here and you say, like, well, Israel's, you sit here and it's just, yeah. Like, I mean, following the news of the acceptance of a ceasefire, Itamar Ben-Gvir discourages Israel from accepting terms. Yet Netanyahu has no mandate to pursue a deal. Ben-Gvir previously resigned from the government after a ceasefire was approved in January 2025 and is now threatening to do so again if another deal is signed, along with fellow members of his Otzma Yehuda. This would collapse the Israeli government. So Israel will reject this deal and then we'll be told Hamas rejected the deal. Even though it's a partial deal, like, Israel will reject it and they'll say Hamas have modified it. We'll probably never find out how Hamas modified it. But what Hamas will modify it to say is that the talk of what they're asking for is a permanent ceasefire. But maybe there's some sort of plan of doing this permanent ceasefire or enforcing it in some kind of way where Hamas gets a guarantee. But I don't know. How do you even guarantee that? It's just like, I don't know. Just also, by the way, on this Hasan, someone posted this on Leftovers H3. Turkey backs Palestine and they don't like America. Most facile understanding of Middle Eastern politics imaginable. It was a funny theory, but I think that people would latch onto this without a second thought. So if you don't care about hard proof, then I think this would cause enough panic to get some real movement on it. I'm going to research it. Found a book his dad wrote. It's the limited free version in Turkish, but maybe something could be extracted from this. Step 1 is to 100% confirm his dad. Step 2, answer the question, who is his dad? This is just Dan Saltman just being involved in a Discord, just stalking Hasan Piker's dad, which I probably don't want to show there. Actually, it's so blurred, I don't think you could see it. Goes through Chenk's life and details his mother, Hasan's mum. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Like, just, these people are just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Like, what this guy is up to. But, you know, cultivate this kind of audience. What do you expect? Cultivate an audience of pro-Israel people. Pray for the train. Indeed, I'll pray for the train. Greetings from Mexico. Greetings from England. Londonistan, as some people have called it. 65-year-old man, by the way. Erdogan is not the best of allies. Nice try, Dan. I mean, these people don't care. But yeah, here's Trump on this. We will only see the return of the remaining hostages when Hamas is confronted and destroyed. The sooner this takes place, the better the chances of success will be. This isn't even of success. The better the chances of success will be. That's not even well written, right? That's kind of shit. The sooner this takes place, the better the chances of success will be. I guess that's fine. Remember, I was the one who negotiated and got the hundreds of hostages freed and released into Israel and America. I was the one who ended 6 wars in just 6 months. I was the one who obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. Play to win or don't play at all. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So fucking funny. So fucking funny. I think I've told this story before, and one time I told it, someone was like, you lost friends over this? But I had a debate with a friend who I'd known for a really long time, and they were just like, yeah, Trump is not going to get America involved in... Trump is not going to get America involved in more wars. Kamala Harris will bring us to World War III. And it's just like... it's just like the fact is that, like, look, Israel are just, the unequivocal support of Israel is just not going to do anything positive. There's the first clips of the Zelensky-Trump stuff, but I mean, I don't know whether he will be able to end the Ukraine war, because it's kind of just like a stalemate. And the other problem is, by the way, Europe remains committed to one of the more interesting things about Ukraine is whether it will cause like a major break between Europe and America, because America's clearly wanting to get out of it, but
President Zelensky, you say in a post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Which is it?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And, is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed, and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason. A big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin...
Do you think Trump is just terrified of death? Because this is also what I heard someone talking about. There is perhaps no one in the world who is more terrified of a world going on without him than Donald Trump. So he's just doing whatever he can and just sort of fucking stuff up and leaving a wake of destruction of just like... Because I think if you negotiate a really shitty deal with Ukraine, like, you will just end up provoking, like, more conflict in the future, like more wars, like, going on and on and on. And so, like, kind of, you know, what happened after the Second World War. Of course, Ukraine doesn't have this, the First World War. Of course, Ukraine doesn't have the same power of Germany, but it's just, like, Ukrainians are not going to accept this. Like, sure, most people want an end to the war. Sorry. Oh, fuck, I've now got the hiccups.
On Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be, look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the one that...
I did indeed listen to Y Theory today. Sorry, I've got something stuck in my throat. I don't know why. I'm struggling to speak. Oh, God. But I mean, all of this stuff as well is bullshit. Like, Biden was doing this, Trump was doing this. It's like the Afghanistan and the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Like, the Afghanistan withdrawal was agreed by Trump. Oh, fucking hell, and I don't have enough water to stop it. Like... Like, look at this. The US-Taliban deal. On the 10th of March, US CENTCOM rejected reports that the US military had developed a plan to withdraw all troops from... Fuck. Ugh. Fuck. Raise your arms up. Oh, fuck. You know what? Oh, God. I might just end the stream because this is not going away. Oh, my God. Whew. Jesus Christ. I'm finding it hard to speak now all of a sudden. The US Army later confirmed... Basically, this all began under Trump. All of this stuff began under Trump. And look where that got you. Look where that got Afghanistan. Look what all of his negotiating did in Palestine. Like nothing. Absolutely nothing positive. And I feel like this is just kind of the end. Oh my God. You know what, guys? I'm just going to call it here. I'm not going to be able to get this done, and I don't have much else planned. Thank you all for coming. I'll be live again tomorrow, definitely. Break on Wednesday, and then I'll let you know about Thursday and Friday. So yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Fuck.
Israeli jails would come out too. We don't know the details on all of this.
Here. I'm not going to be able to get this done, and I don't have much else planned. Thank you all for coming. I'll be live again tomorrow, definitely. Break on Wednesday, and then I'll let you know about Thursday and Friday. So yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Fuck.
Israeli